All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. Just getting things set up here as we get started. Hopefully sound and everything looks good on my end. Cool. All right, so as per usual, guys, we're going to get into today's stream, taking a look at the markets, talking about what's going on. We do have some volatility still going around due to the fact, a big thing on the headlines, of course, being the whole situation between the U.S. and Iran. Will be interesting to see how that all plays out. It is kind of a big situation, and a lot of times when you have those big news sort of headlines, a lot of times the markets reflect it. You get volatility going on and all sorts of chaos that comes with it. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm giving everybody just a moment to tune in as we get started here. But we are going to be taking a look at the markets, talking about what's going on in terms of technical analysis, in terms of a little bit of, forexfactory.com. Maybe that's a good thing to pull up here as we get going. We can talk a little bit about what's on the docket for news. We do have a big one tomorrow. I'm sure many of you guys already know which big news article or news event that is. We do have today, looking like we've got, we already had some news for GBP. We have some news coming out for the Bank of Canada, which will be interesting to see. And then, of course, we also have Aussie retail sales coming out this evening, depending on where you are in the world. So with that said, some news today, not a ton of stuff, but the big one is tomorrow. Of course, we do have unemployment rates for Canada, and we also have the non-farm employment change for the US dollar, which is, of course, a very, very big one. And a lot of people around the world watch to see how that news impacts the US dollar, as a lot of times it can kind of ripple effect and cause different, things around the world, right? People are all watching to see how the US dollar performs, that sort of thing. Good morning to you guys. Thanks very much for showing up. I'm a little bit early today, which I know, I apologize for that. I have to go a little bit earlier today to go check out a new office space. I'm kind of currently right now, I'm looking around to find a new office space. So that's kind of why I'm here a little bit early. I've got a scheduled appointment to go check out another office space. So thanks, guys, for bearing with me. Cool. Okay, so let's start out, guys, by taking a look at EURUSD. I would like to see what's going on with this pair right now. We have seen some bearishness on this pair. You can see we did kind of put in a lower high there, and we have continued to break through some structure here on EURUSD. Okay, so this is the 4-hour chart right now. You can see we broke through this level of support. One big level that kind of catches my eye is this level right here, which is, let's say, the 1.1076 level. It looks like price wants to head down to that point here on the 4-hour chart. We also, again, we kind of have this chugging uptrend overall on the 4-hour chart. However, remember on the daily chart, we are still quite bearish on EURUSD. The question here being, we've broken through this shorter term trend line. Are we going to make our way down to, again, that 1.0706, whatever level I said, this level right here in green, right? We have broken through this level. The question will be, can we continue down to test this area of support here? You can see it looking left. That was a significant area of support. You can see in that area we caught a lot of buy pressure. We pushed this market up, and now you can see price looking like it wants to make its way back to that level. So we'll see what happens there on EURUSD. So yeah, we had this kind of shorter term trend line, and this is kind of interesting because sometimes people like to do this. I like to take a look at, multiple trend lines at once sometimes to get an idea of different kind of ways people are looking at it. For example, there's probably also people who are drawing a trend line like this right now, right? So there's people who are drawing trend lines differently. And this is the thing about trend lines, guys, is that trend lines are a bit subjective because you can draw them many different ways, and you can draw them on many different time frames, and you can draw them in different ways. Not to say that they're useless, in my opinion. My opinion is that trend lines are not useless. I like trend lines personally, right? So it's not that they're not good. It's more so that my idea with them is that people are drawing them differently, and you have to understand and appreciate that, right? So you have people who are looking at trend lines with a different kind of way than other people, right? So we have multiple trend lines here. None of them are necessarily right. None of them necessarily wrong. It's just that we have a couple different ones. So, you have this one, which is a short-term one that's pretty clear. You also have that longer-term one, which is a pretty clear one. So those are the two that I like the best. So again, trend lines are an interesting thing, but my biggest idea would be this longer term one looks pretty interesting, especially if we come down to this support level. I think we could catch a bounce off of that for Euro USD, as we still have quite a bit of momentum upwards. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'm going to say hello to a couple of you guys. I see Lazarus, Prince, Second Born, good for you. Safin Cozy, hopefully I said your name right. Harrison. Samuel, Player's Voice. Cameron, Keynote. Majid? Again, I apologize if I mess up your name. It's nothing personal. I just am bad at pronouncing names, to be honest. Thank you guys very much for being here. Happy morning to you. Good afternoon to you, wherever you are in the world. Good evening to you. I appreciate you tuning in to another live stream here where we take a look at the markets. We talk about technical analysis. We talk about everything that's kind of going on in the world of currencies. Usually we do these at 10 a.m. Eastern, which is in about 20 minutes. But I'm a little bit early today, as I mentioned earlier. I'm going to take a look at some office spaces to move into at some point. We're trying to upgrade the studio sort of look for the content, and so I do have an appointment in kind of a little bit sooner than I would like to, so unfortunately I had to push the stream back 30 minutes. So thanks guys for tuning in. So that's kind of Euro USD. Nothing crazy there that I love or dislike about Euro USD. Let's talk about the pound though, because I am curious about what's going to happen with the pound here. Let's talk about the 1 hour chart. 1 hour chart kind of looking interesting. We did kind of break through some levels here, right? We had this supportive level. We also had this supportive level, both of which kind of broke down. The question will be here, right? As we broke through this level, are we going to hold this as resistance and continue, or is this just choppiness? And are we going to see the continued choppiness of the pound, right? So right now, based on this kind of choppy market environment, we'll see what ends up happening. But my bias would be that we continue to chop around for a little bit. We could bounce back up, right? So with all this uncertainty with the stuff going on with Iran, a lot of times markets, especially the US dollar right now, support and resistance, of course, they're still interesting to look at and potentially useful. But with all the volatility, sometimes support and resistance goes out the window. So for example, right, if we had some massive fundamental shift, well, this level of resistance, right, if price just started skyrocketing, it might not necessarily hold, okay? So you have to understand that, sometimes when you get these really big fundamental things going on, when you get the big global events, that can really break concepts down, okay? But, it's still useful to understand where those support and resistance levels are, kind of for reference. You can see, we have some resistance up here. So there's kind of a couple different resistance levels that I see. The biggest ones that I see being this area here and this one here. And then again, we have some short-term support levels that we broke through. Now the question will be, is this going to hold as resistance, or are they going to hold as, or are we going to kind of see this market just continue to chop back and forth? So definitely interesting to see what goes on there on the pound. This is the 1 hour chart. Let's bring it to the 4 hour chart really quick, see what's going on there. So continuing to hold this downward structure that we've been talking about on the pound, right? See sellers stepping in and pushing price down all along the way here. Question will be, if price does get some sort of bullish, rally, can it break through that level and continue? If so, you might get a bull run there on the pound. But for the time being, continuing to hold that level as we've talked about here in the last couple streams. What is support? I need to support emotionally. That's funny. So basically, support is a level on the chart which historically held very nicely in terms of like holding the buyers or holding the sellers. Here's an example of resistance, which is just the opposite of support, right? For those of you guys who are newer, I have a beginner's course that you can go check out on my channel for free. Here's an example of very basic resistance, okay? Right? Price comes up to this level, sells off. Price comes up to this level, sells off. What that tells us is that in this area, sellers are in control historically, and so there's a good chance it will happen again. Not always, and sometimes you can see here, it breaks out, right? So you have to be okay with the idea that it's not gonna be 100% perfect, but support is the opposite idea, right? Down here, you have areas where buyers are historically buying, right? Buying, 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 right? And then you have sellers up in the resistance, okay? So that's kind of what support and resistance are. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's a very simple concept, and it doesn't work all the time, of course, but it's something that I personally like to use in my own trading. So again, there's a free playlist for those of you guys who are new to trading. I have 2 playlists on my channel. They're free courses for you to check out. If you go to the playlist section under my YouTube channel, I've got a free course for complete beginners, and then I've got a free course for people who are interested in learning more about price action. So if you're interested in price action, you don't have to go spend a bunch of money on fancy courses. I've got one for free that I really had a lot of fun making, and figured I would just put it up for free. All I ask is that if my stuff is helpful to you guys, do me a big favor, return the help by just subscribing to the YouTube channel if you're new here, and give this video and any of the videos that you watch and enjoy a thumbs up. That really does go a long way. I know you always hear YouTubers saying that, but it really does help to grow the content, and I definitely appreciate it when you guys like the stuff that I put out. So that's kind of the pound dollar. Let's wrap up and move on to something else. I would like to take a look at dollar yen, see what's going on. We do see a lot of bullishness on this pair, quite a bit of bullishness. Ooh, this is interesting this morning with dollar yen as we come into this area here. That's a big deal because now the question is this level going to hold? We've seen a ton of bullishness, right? But we're coming into a big area, right, of resistance. Roger, you mentioned you're new to trading and that you're asking about support and resistance. Well, here's a very clean example right now of dollar yen, which is USDJPY. You can see it up in the corner there. USDJPY has a big resistance level in this area, 109.7, I believe, 109.65 roughly. This area is a level of resistance or supply. If you want to put it in another term, supply and demand, right? This area has quite a bit of supply. Sellers pushing price down, right? Well, sellers overall pushed the market down quite a bit, but now we've seen a very strong push by buyers. And now we're coming into a very interesting area here on the 4-hour chart, which historically acted as a resistance level. So what does that mean about what's going to happen next? Well, it doesn't guarantee anything about what's going to happen. Sometimes people will say, oh, it's coming into this level, 100% it's going down. I'm going to put all my money on this and say, you know, I'm going to get rich if it goes down, right? That's not how I would personally approach the market. My way would be, okay, well, we have some pretty convincing resistance, okay? Is that enough to place a trade? I would say probably not. I would look for other reasons as well, right? But it is a component. It is one concept that may be interesting. Here's another reason that I might be interested in a sell trade here, just as an example. Well, we are in a choppy market environment. What does that mean? Choppy market environment basically means that the market price has been going back and forth, and a lot of times that continues for quite some time, right? You have times when the market is trending, and you have the times when markets are ranging or back and forth, right? So when you have a back and forth market, that might be a reason to be more biased towards reversals, okay? For example, another, in this scenario, when you have a market that's quite trendy, back here, dollar yen was trending quite a bit, right? This might have been more of a bias towards continuation plays, holding those trades longer and looking for the continuation of a trend, right? Well, so right now we don't see that. Right now we see a pretty choppy market environment. Here on the daily chart, there are some levels. Of course, that big level still being important on the daily chart. But again, you have this recent level of support that just held very, very nicely, right? But what do we see here? We see primarily a back and forth choppy market environment coming into a level of resistance, right? If you like dollar yen on the short side, that might be a trade to consider. Well, how would you set that trade up? Let's talk about a theoretical trade. And I'm not saying I would take this trade because I would probably need one more reason to be short. I'd probably need one more good reason to take a short trade. Well, let's just say that based on those two concepts, how would we structure a trade? This is just an example. Of course, do your own trading. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't trade. But the idea being here, okay, well, if price starts to skyrocket up into this level here, maybe we look to short, and if we want to trade continuation of this range, maybe we go for something like a 2-to-1, right? That gives us a little bit of room on the top, right? That's our stop loss. We would be entering right around this level of resistance here, right? So selling. And the idea would be hoping for a continuation back down. Well, I like this area as a take profit. You might say, well, why not all the way down at the bottom here? Well, I still like this structure here also being a level of support. So this is just a sample trade, right? I'm not saying again that this is what you should do. This is just an example, right? We come into a level of resistance like this. We're in a choppy market environment. That gives us two reasons. There may be more than that. You know, you'd have to go look for them. But this is just an example. So two reasons for potentially being a seller in this market. Stop losses put up there, take profits down there. And that's just one example of a trade that you could look at on dollar yen. Okay. Let's take a look at gold. See what's going on here. The random spike down on the second candle, you also see it here. It happened on the US dollar and on a lot of the yen pairs. The reasoning being, I believe, had to do something with all the global stuff going on the fundamental side. What pair am I looking at? You can see it up here. XAU USD up in the top left. I was looking at dollar yen. Don't even trade gold. Different people like different things. Some people like gold. Some people do not like gold. Let's talk about it and see what's going on here. Gold has been crazy though lately. We've seen quite a bit of bullishness on this particular pair. Again, this big one being the one that we talked about on the channel. One of the biggest things that we've talked about recently, and I know I'm bringing it up again, for those of you guys who watch my streams regularly, we did call quite a big run to the upside on gold. We said that if price breaks through this downward channel, right, to the upside, that would be a bullish trigger. We saw that right here. We saw that very clean long continuation, and our target was 1550. Right. So, right. So understanding that, where do we go from here? Well, the thing about this, I would say, you know, I'm the perfect gold trader. I'm the greatest trader of all time, like a lot of people on social media might say, but I'm not. And here's what happened. I said that when we got up to here that there was a pretty good chance we'd see a pullback or a reversal. We did not see that, right? My idea was that, you know, with this sharp increase, we could see a pullback just to kind of normalize. Well, sometimes gold goes crazy and does not respect levels of resistance or support. Here's an example of that, right? This looked like a level of resistance to me. I was pretty sure that the top would hold, and I was incorrect about that. I was right about the run up and then wrong about the pullback. That's how trading goes. And it's not always about being right every single time, right? A lot of times, again, I always say this on my channel, but when I was brand new to trading, my idea of a good trader was somebody who knew where the market was going all the time. Like they had some sort of magical gift to predict where everything was going. And what I found years later is that that's not what successful traders do at all. Successful traders make a decent prediction with a slight edge in their favor, right? They manage their risk, and when they're correct, they really let it work for them. And when they're wrong, they move on and they accept, you know, that they were wrong, right? It's just like the nice guy that everybody likes, the nice girl that everybody likes. She or he is quick to admit when they're wrong. They're very friendly. They're very, you know, humble, right? The market rewards patience and humility. The market does not reward arrogance and people who are like, you know, I'm going to get rich quickly. That just 9 times out of 10, it's just going to end up blowing an account. I've been trading gold. It's a double-edged sword. It certainly is. It's quite volatile, which can help you a lot, or it can also hurt you a lot. So, where do we go from here with gold? Well, we saw price spike crazy past this top. We went up to the 1600 level and pulled back sharply. We are now currently at this level, and the question will be, can we hold this level now as a support level, or is gold going to start crashing back down, right? Are we going to break down and head back down to some structure levels down here? It's a question that I can't say that I know what's going to happen. I actually don't love any sort of trade setup right now on gold. I don't like the idea of being long, and I don't like the idea of being short. I love the idea of being long, as I mentioned in my streams here, right? I loved that. And I did like the idea of being short here. I was incorrect. That was a loss. This was a win. The win would have been much better than the loss, right? So right now, though, I have no kind of sort of strong bias of where gold goes next. Some might make the argument that this is pulling back to a key level and that we're going to see the continuation. And you could also probably get a fib level going. Let's see if we get maybe a 38.2. That's my guess. Yep, 38.2 right there. So as price pulls back, some people might make the argument that we're at the 38.2 level. We are also at a significant level of support. This is bullish, right? But my idea is that gold is a bit stretched, in my opinion, to the upside. We are quite high here at this point. We're seeing quite a bit of volatility, and we very well could see some sort of abnormal crash back down with all this volatility, okay? Guys, do me a favor. If you guys are enjoying the stream, give this video a thumbs up down below. I do these videos for free, and, I really enjoy doing these live streams, but it's always super helpful when you guys support the content that I'm putting out here for free. As long as people are liking the videos and enjoying the content, then I will continue to do these for free. That I love doing them again, but I do appreciate any support from you guys by giving this video a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel if you are not already. If you're not subscribed, you're missing out, because we do all sorts of free stuff, and there's a ton of more content coming for you that, a lot of people would say shouldn't be free. I say it should be free because I like making this content, and it's not always about making a ton of money to me. I really enjoy making this content for you guys and hearing from you. So thank you guys very much for your feedback. Thank you very much for your support. We've been having a tremendous amount of people send in messages and supportive comments and all sorts of stuff. So thank you guys. I always give you a like. Thank you very much, Riding the Waves. That's very kind of you. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. I will say what's kind of interesting is that the trading community, like as a whole, right, is either one of two things. Either you have the people who are extremely toxic, right? The people that are very, very angry, and they're very, I'm the best trader in the world. You guys are all dumb, right? Everybody is wrong except me. And the people who are just very, very, not very open-minded, right? You have those people, but you also have you guys, who a lot of the people who show up to these streams are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, right? We have people in the VIP team that I offer, right? If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, the VIP service that I run is, the link is right up there. We have a community basically where you pay to be a part of a community that you can follow along with my trades, as well as other very experienced traders, watching what they do in the markets, learning from them, learning from the analysis, learning from other traders, chatting with traders, right? And what I've found over the years is that, again, there's a lot of toxic people, but there's a lot more very kind, spirited people in trading. We all kind of have a common goal, right? We all want to improve our financial situation. And unfortunately, finance and money does bring out sometimes the worst in people, but it also brings out some of the best of people, in my opinion, because some of the people that I've worked with in the community and here on the YouTube channel are extremely friendly and extremely dedicated to improving their situation and helping others along the way. And that's exactly why I love having this YouTube channel and I love sharing content, is because, again, I've had a lot of really positive support and people who are very appreciative of what we're doing here on the YouTube channel. So thank you guys. Just a little shout out to you guys who are supportive on the channel. Thanks a lot. I do really genuinely appreciate it. We've grown like crazy, which is, I think we're at like 42,000 subscribers, which just blows my mind. So thank you guys, seriously. Education is a human's right. Love you, bro. Appreciate that. You know what? If you can't make it and then reach back and help other people get there, did you really make it? I would say no. I think that one of the most powerful things about, if you guys find yourself having some sort of success, the best feeling in the world is to reach back and help other people join you. So good morning to you guys. Good afternoon. Thanks very much for being here. I do appreciate you. Before we get going here, I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, my friends over at HYCM. This is a sponsored stream. They sponsor our streams here. They have been so kind to reach out and help us out by, a lot of the money has gone towards improving the cameras, improving the mics. I've got this, you can't see it, but there's like the stand for the mic and all that sort of stuff. So thanks to our sponsors. This is HYCM. They are a very well-regulated broker that accepts clients from all over the place. You can check them out. There's a link down below in the description. If you guys are looking for a new broker, they have my stamp of approval. They are a great broker. They offer all sorts of really nice perks. They have been in the markets for 40 plus years, 1977. Very well regulated broker. Another cool thing is that they do offer Forex, but they also offer stocks and indices. If you want to trade things like Microsoft, Apple, Twitter, they have the availability to trade that even outside of the US. Indices, cryptocurrencies, commodities, they offer a huge range of different things that you could trade. Speaking of gold, you can trade gold and cotton even, Brent crude oil, all sorts of stuff. The other thing that's really big to me with them is they have very tight spreads, very fair spreads in their accounts and the options there. And maybe also the most important thing to me is that they have really, really good customer support and service. The people that have been working with me have been extremely friendly, extremely fast to respond with me. So definitely check them out. They are, again, I have a lot of people who want to advertise on the YouTube channel here, but I'm very picky about it, and these guys definitely deserve it. They are very friendly to me and have been, I've heard a lot of great things from different reviews online. So check them out. Do your own research on HYCM. Check out the link down below. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another stream. Again, if you are not already, subscribe to the channel down below so that you can come back and get more technical analysis and hang out with us in the future, whether you're just charting on the side while you listen to the stream or just hanging out or listening at work. I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you got something out of the stream. Hope you learned one thing at least today, and we'll see you guys back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back.